Buddy,
I'm Josh.
and I'm Eitan. Welcome back to the seventh episode of the Younger Half podcast. We are two 14-year-old boys from New Jersey who discuss, debate, and share insights on everything from history to politics, sports, current events, and more. Follow us on Instagram at the Younger Half. To see more of our podcasts, check us out on on your favorite podcasting platforms at the Younger Half. You can also check us out on YouTube to see pictures and videos during our podcast at the Younger Half. If you'd like to help grow the podcast by supporting us, head to anchor.fm/theyongerhalf/support or click the link in the description. Something to keep an eye out for is hopefully coming soon, the Younger Half merch. All right, let's get into it.
So, Congressman John Lewis unfortunately died. He was a big civil rights activist. The memorial was held in Georgia and several other places, but the main thing with Georgia was that there is a travel advisory, meaning when you come back from Georgia, you need to quarantine for the District of Columbia, which is obviously Washington, D.C. Yet
Right.
none of the politicians quarantined, sparking confusion and outbursts throughout the country as to why they didn't. So, what are some thoughts you have, Eitan?
Well, one thing I want to say is that they, first of all, didn't know 14 days in advance of his death,
Well, that's
obviously.
Eitan. That's not the point. The point is when they come back.
Right. So when they wait, are you for sure that they didn't quarantine?
Yeah, I just read an article about it.
I don't know. I just think that they were at the funeral and they were wearing masks. I don't know. I just feel like it was such an event that I don't even know. It's a hard discussion because it is the select number of people, but they are important people. They are former presidents and they are like senators. So you do want to have them as
So you're
like
saying that
President Trump. So
you're saying
what?
that you're saying that that they're above the law.
No, they're not. That's what I'm saying. I'm agreeing with you because they're supposed to give an example and they're
Exactly.
supposed to be an example for everyone. So you I think that they should have quarantined, but I think you're kind of, or the article you're reading was shifting the focus of the whole thing. Focus was that he was a amazing and huge civil rights activist.
I know,
So
I
we should,
agree 100%. But just a question that I want to pose is that, would we all be saying the same thing if there's a huge gathering for somebody who not as had a big influence as Congressman Lewis, if there was somebody less? A life was lost, period. I'm just posing the question that if there was a live lost from something and there's a big gathering now, even with social distancing, would we all just be okay if they all just came back to DC and didn't quarantine? That's just what I'm posing. But in the defense of the government officials, press secretary for I don't really remember who, I think maybe for a congressman or something like that, said that the travel it was a really good point. The travel advisory is for non-essential things. So when you go there for a haircut, let's say you want to go there for a haircut for some reason, and you come back, and then you would need to quarantine or to visit a family member just for the sake of visiting a family member. But you could argue that two things, that going to a funeral is essential, which I don't think is the main argument, but the main argument is coming back and having to run the country is the main argument.
well,
But
they're not.
oh,
Not.
the senators are not in.
Well, yeah, the senators are, but I'm saying like Obama and
I agree, but I'm saying the main focus of this topic is the government officials. I like come to the defense of them, but I'm just posing the question: would we all be okay with it if there was a big gathering for a funeral?
right.
You know what I'm saying?
In your yeah, like in your defense, I agree with you. I think that it's been so hard for people to lose their grandparents. I know someone who lost their grandfather.
Yeah.
And they weren't able to say goodbye, and they had a tiny funeral. It just like coming to your defense, they had all these people at John Lewis's funeral, which was really a respectful and way to pay their respects. But it seems almost like unfair to all those people who lost really close relatives and couldn't have
Right, unfair is a
everyone.
very good term to use.
Right. All right. So on to the next thing. Last week President Trump floated the idea of delaying the election, which in my opinion is absurd. You know, so I think that like he's probably scared. I think he's scared that he's gonna lose the election. What do you really think, Josh?
I think it's absurd because it's unconstitutional. Um, you know, Minority Leader Senator Chuck Schumer said like that he doesn't get to decide that. I'm not quoting him, just paraphrasing.
Right.
Like, it makes sense. I agree with him. Like it's not stay in your lane, President. That's up to the House and the Senate. That's up to the Congress. That's like, what I'm saying. What do you think?
Yeah, even like top Republican officials who totally backed up Trump for a long
Yeah,
time
with
have said
impeachment and
like,
everything.
yeah, they've said that don't stoop that low. Like you
Yeah.
gotta
Like,
you
all
gotta
right,
shape
like
up.
now we're,
Yeah.
just on the same topic as that my father told me about an article, or that like a rumor was that President Trump was that there's some rumors and discussion of him, possibly dropping out. This is not nothing confirmed, nothing,
Well, yeah, because he's losing in every single poll against Joe Biden. So
I
that's why
mean,
he'd be dropping out.
yeah, so I heard, so then my family was actually having a discussion about this on Friday night, was that, so somebody said that like he's too arrogant to drop out, right?
Right.
Which is a good point, but then my father said that, or it's vice versa, that really he's too arrogant to lose, so he'll drop out now and just blame it on the mail-in ballots.
Right. That's what I think. Yeah, even Joe Biden said this. His number one fear is that he's gonna win, and Trump's gonna be like, "I'm not leaving. Fake election, or fake news, fraud.
That's funny
Everything
you
was
say that.
fraud."
I just read an article on Fox News that like
Ew,
Trump
fuck.
that Trump like administration like is saying that he's like not gonna leave. Like, I was thinking like, what does that mean? Like, what?
Well,
Imagine
yeah, I know that would be
imagine
crazy. But
like
as we were,
can you imagine like DHS storming the building, like Donald and Brett, and like dragging him out like before the inauguration.
yeah,
God.
like I don't know. I just touching on the things you were just talking about. He can't do that.
Yeah,
I don't think he
what?
can do that.
Let him have his moment, Aton.
Yeah.
On to the next thing was that, recently there's been huge outcry, fighting between the White House and federal officers between Portland and their government. So the Portland mayor has removed federal officers. So, some of the questions that there are is that, like, should they have been there in the first place? Just like some general thoughts about unidentified officers. Like, what really happened there? What do you think?
Well, yeah, exactly. Were they even officers? Like
No,
they were
no, they're not
totally.
officers, Aton. I mean,
I know,
yeah,
but I'm saying like they were totally unidentified, and they were taking them into like
police
these
use it.
Honda minivans.
Police use that tactic all the time. My father and I will like this like on occasion we'll be driving. He's an EMT, so he like recognizes these things. So he's like, oh yeah, like that's police officer. You could see his lights on the bottom right thing. So like, it's a common tactic that police use.
It is, but in that sense, there are these protesters, and they are being destructive. But they see out of their corner of their eye hundreds of people in camo with big guns just walking towards them.
Because they're destroying property and violently rioting. I feel like that's the problem. Is that they're like violently, like doing things. Do they not expect to have violent retaliation?
Well, you can't fight violence with violence, but I know I
You
agree
say
with you.
you
I'm not
can't,
saying what they're. You can't fight violence with violence.
so you're being shot at by a criminal. You're supposed to stand there and put your hands up.
Exactly.
But
No,
I don't
that's not what
understand
I
what you're
meant.
suggesting. That's what you just said, though.
Oh, I'm saying like they are rioting and they are protesting, but the way I don't know if this is true. I'm not there, but the videos I've seen is that people are just standing up. Like a lot of things I've heard is hands up, don't shoot, and they're just being fired with pepper balls from these
That's because you're
officers.
that's because you're only seeing the three
Right, that's
videos
what I'm
of the,
saying. I'm not
so
there.
my thing about that is like I feel like it's like completely justified, but the only thing about them is that I feel like they could stay in their lane a little bit. I think their main goal to be there was to protect the federal like courthouse that was there. But like I feel like that was good, but like at a certain point, sometimes they did need to stay in their lane a little bit more. I will admit that.
Right. No, I agree with you. Like saying that they should I have identified themselves and shouldn't have just pulled these
Well, because
protesters into vans. w- Just because I said that they should be identified, it doesn't mean that the protesters are doing anything correctly.
I don't
I
think
was
that they should
just
be. You right. I got you. I don't think that it's that bad that they're unidentified. Like, what? First of all, that's like saying
right.
that police aren't allowed to like to like to like
Josh.
twist their arm because that's like a certain tactic. That's what people are suggesting. First of all, second of all, because yeah, if they're destroying property and see a marked police car coming down the street, heck yeah, they're getting the heck out of
Right, but that I was saying what I was thinking is that there was so much things going on and there was so much like there's all these protests and all these protesters destroying stuff and they didn't really understand who these people were. They could have been anti protesters with big like with that like joined together to try to like kick them out themselves, you know?
right. I
So
hear
like
that.
they could have been confused. They could have been like, who are these people? Are they like trying to mass murder us,
I
or are
mean,
they like
no, do they
officers?
not? That's a bad example because do they not see it coming when they're destroying the target? You know what I mean?
I know, but they think not that I don't agree with them. I know what you're saying, but I was just thinking that like what they're protesting, um, it's just I don't know. They have their own reasons, and obviously that's not I don't know. I agree with you that they shouldn't be obviously destroying things, but yeah, I don't know.
Right.
All right, so on to the next topic. So the very famous TikTok app that pretty much very popular with kids our generation. So what has raised many concerns is that um Chinese intelligence um in and developers in China own the app. So
Do
what
do do like do you obviously there's no real way to know this, but do you think that's just like a classic like China and like America like arguments? Like, do you think that's just them now because like the consultation what it's called, the like consultation or something like that was like ordered to close? Do you think that just because of their attentions are high that like America's just accusing them of that, and or do you think that like we've seen it in other places too, like India? You know what I
no,
mean?
they have intelligence. They have intelligence that the Chinese government is literally
Right.
finding out what American teenagers like, and they're trying to get them to get these certain products or these certain things, and there's just a lot of hate.
And like
Although it's
corruption.
right, but as a solution to this, which I think it's not a terrible idea, is I don't know if you heard, Microsoft is trying to buy it.
Right. Yeah, I did. I read that in the news this morning.
Right. So Microsoft, well, just like last week when President Trump said he was going to ban it, um held their negotiations, but they just restarted it earlier this week.
You know
So
what?
we will
Two things. Sorry, I cut you off, but I don't
okay.
understand what the problem. Let's say it. I don't understand. Is China like using it to promote their products, or are they using it like corruption and to get your information?
Right,
Because
that's
if they're using it to promote products, that's what Google Ads is on YouTube or on and any other company. By the way, I think that's by the way with Google Ads, like it doesn't or like with Facebook, it doesn't convince me more that I want to buy your product because you like like saw that I texted Aton that I said
It's
like
not that. It's not that. It's that I
it is.
was on. No, it
No,
was.
no,
It's a funny story that I was actually with my dad and we were talking about a certain thing, and then 30 seconds later, he's going through like a couple minutes later, he's going through Facebook and something like about say we were talking about like painting the living room. We got like an ad for paint
that's my
on his
point.
Facebook. No, that's my point. I'm saying that they're listening.
Yeah, you just prove my point. Yeah, okay, whatever. We're on the same page. um,
Yeah, we're on the same page.
you know what I mean? Like that doesn't make me want to buy your product more because you're like
No,
see
I
that.
agree with you, but what I don't know, I'm not Mike Pompeo. I don't know his intelligence,
Right.
but it seems scary that they whatever they are stealing is clearly a big enough threat to make it to Trump's intelligence briefing.
Right.
So, right.
So right, yeah. Now on to sports.
Sports.
So MLB has like really been struggling. So like an outbreak last week caused the Miami Marlins and five other teams to cancel their games. So that's six teams. I'm not great at math, but what I heard is that's like 20% of the league. So like I said before, five other teams didn't play because of the coronavirus, sparking outbreak from fans of the game and analysts and all good people regarding the MLB's handling of the situation. So my personal opinion is that I
Right.
don't think there's gonna be a season. Like we're gonna be stuck in this loop for a long time now. Um, you know, like where it's gonna be stuck where like the Marlins have missed like 5 games or something like that. So I feel like we're just gonna be stuck in this loop where like it's gonna be the playoffs and like it's gonna like my dad made this joke. It's like oh wait like Mets still have 60 more games to go. All right guys, we're just gonna have to wait till January. Like that's what my dad said this morning. Like I think we're just gonna be stuck in that loop. So
So,
what do you think about like they're handling it and like what I said before about not being a season?
right, so I 100% agree. I don't think there's going to be a season either. I just think that I don't know, it's really scary that and it's almost sad that these players are getting paid to risk their lives or even like get a chance to spread the virus. And I don't
Hmm.
know, I know everyone's like desperate and everyone's excited. Yay, sports are back, but
Right.
it poses a whole new risk and
Yeah, I
um,
think that they're handling it so poorly. Like, there's so many things.
what do you what do
Here,
you
I'll,
expect them to
I'll
do?
tell
They
you. I'll
can't
tell
do
you.
much.
First things first. I understand that like they combine the divisions, but that doesn't do anything. You're still traveling. You can't be traveling. You're not get. You're gonna need to either like share stadium. I don't know, whatever it is. I think MLB. I think NBA did it perfectly. You have no traveling. I feel as though that's what they should have done. I don't understand how you could be traveling during a pandemic, bringing what is in, God forbid, in Fenway Park to City Field. I don't understand how they could possibly be doing that. First of all, second of all, you see, like they're not careful at all. You see them hit a home run. You all see them go back into this dugout high fiving, everybody touching the helmet, and then he goes in the. They're not careful in the slightest. Then they're all on top of each other on the dugout. Like they're not careful in the slightest.
Right. I agree. The only thing they really can do is cancel the season, and they don't want to do that. They don't want to lose the money, which is ridiculous. But I
Yeah,
don't
I
know.
mean, I think they should have prepared better. This is I don't understand. They did not see this
They,
coming, where everyone's high
yeah, I
fiving
know.
and you're traveling.
100% agree. Like this is pretty much inevitable.
Yeah, exactly, inevitable. On the same topic of coronavirus in baseball, Yoenis Cespedes, an outfielder for my beloved Mets, who by the way are not doing so great. It's
I'm
hard for me.
so surprised.
It's hard for me to watch. This right here, what I'm about to say is a classic Mets situation where you know he didn't show up to the clubhouse or he didn't contact any players, he didn't contact the front office. He didn't do anything. He didn't anything like that. When security went to his room, because they're like, what the heck, Yoenis, where you
Right.
at? Um,
Right.
there was nothing there, like nothing, and then his agent informed the front office that he's opting out of the season. It's a classic Mets move. The guy, one of our best guys, plays for like 2 minutes, and then he's like, I'm gone.
Bye.
I read an article that he's opted out because of coronavirus, but I read an article on ESPN today that he was secretly just like upset with the organization and is like fed up, rightfully so. We stink. But like you know
Yeah.
what like you know.
Yeah, I agree. It also shows, like as we were just talking about, although he is upset at the organization, the players, not just him, are opting out, and it could also be because of the virus.
Well, yeah, I'm just saying I read an article about yeah ESPN. So that is the end, everybody. Thank you so much for listening to this week's episode of The Younger Half. Follow us on Instagram at The Younger Half. Check us out on your favorite podcasting platform. Subscribe to us on YouTube to see pictures and videos at The Younger Half. And if you want to help us grow, consider supporting us on anchor.fm/The Younger Half/support, or press the link in the description for questions or comments. Email us at TheYoungerHalf@gmail.com. Have a great week, everyone. Stay safe.